Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning, and hope you're having a great start to your day. I'm enjoying my coffee in our Martin Clinic mug. Good morning, Sherry, Brahim, Marsha. Good morning to you. Rosalinda, good morning. Seems to me, Rosalinda, you're having your coffee too. John, good morning from Elgin, Illinois, and Rosa. Montreal, Judy, good morning. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec, and Nick from our staff. And Micheline, good morning. Sturgeon Falls, Kathleen, Chantal, Ottawa. Betty, Jocelyn, Sturgeon, well represented this morning. Derek, good morning to you. Fran, hello, 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 hello. Barbara, Nova Scotia. Wheatley, Colleen, Mona, and Carol. Denise, good morning. Connie, how are you, Connie? Susan, Carrie, we appreciate you guys coming on, and Carrie is from Nebraska. Leanne, good morning, and Mark, Catherine, Springdale, Newfoundland. I always wait for Newfoundland to come on. Mary in Scarborough, Helena, Robert, Rosemary, good morning. Nellie, good morning to you. We appreciate you. Sorry. We appreciate you guys. Deb from Timmins. Jeanette from Hearst, Northern Ontario, folks, if you're wondering where those places are. Donna and Suzanne. And from New Brunswick, Marcin and Bonnie. Okay, I promise you I am going to, Francine, good morning. And I promise you I'm going to come on and say hi to the rest. Darlene, I got to say it. Lexi, Connecticut, and Colleen and Carrie, Sandra. Okay, let me get going. IT. Okay, now, couple of things I want to answer. Today's question and answer Friday, by the way. Okay, so for those joining us first time, every Friday we do question and answers. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. One of the questions I was asked, I actually have an autographed book here. Now it'll be upside down for you guys. At least the writing will be. Eat for your blood type, okay? And then if you look on the inside, I have, it's autographed by the author. I'm just showing that. For those on the podcast, you can't see that obviously, but I'm showing for Dr. Tony. Nice to meet you, Dr. Peter D'Adamo. Okay, sign that for me. You know where he signed that for me? In Anaheim, California. Can't remember the year exactly. I'm going to say 2000, or when the book came out, I think it was 2000, maybe 202, somewhere around there. And I was doing a presentation in Anaheim at the Expo West, I think it's called. One of the biggest health food shows in the world is in Anaheim, California. I think it's got canceled the last 2 years because of COVID. But I mean, I think somewhere around, they get 60,000 people, if not more, at that conference. And they always have a wide variety of speakers and conference speakers. And one year I happened to be featured So this is a long time ago because I wrote a book on chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm just going to look and see if I have it. I have it in French over on my, I'll show it to you here. I have it in French, okay? La fibromyalgie, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, okay? The modern woman's curse. There it is. This was the third printing in Quebec by Quebecor. It was a very popular book. I think we sold somewhere around 50,000 copies of that book. Anyways, I was speaking to that conference on chronic fatigue syndrome. And the research clinically that I had done talked about, it's not the yuppie flu or whatever, it's the adrenal exhaustion that occurs in it would happen to be a modern phenomenon in women. And I explained all that in the book, and it was very popular. And I actually rewrote the book. And if you look back here over my shoulder, you'll see it there. And it is Energy Robbers and the Fatigue Cure. That happened to be a rewrite of the book on chronic fatigue syndrome. Number one reason that people visit their doctors is because they're exhausted. It's still number one today. One or two. They're exhausted. They're tired of being tired. And doctors don't have any answers for them. Because doctors, and I'm just going to make a general statement, are hijacked by labs. And they wait on the lab to tell them what's wrong. And, that's all right for a lot of cases, but a lot of people fall through the cracks because of that. Because they're tired all the time and no one can tell them why. So chronic fatigue, and I talked about fibromyalgia just being a symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome. And it happened to be because cortisol has been secreted for a long period of time, messes up a woman hormonally. And it was mostly women, over 90% of this is a woman's condition. And guys, I'm a very simple person. If it's women that get this condition of chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, 90 to 10, it's even higher than that. Well, you have to understand the way this little mind up here operates. I say, well, women, what's with women? Hormones. Not the lab. Hormones. There's an imbalance. Too much cortisol over a long period of time. The fight or flight. It drains the ever-ready bunny that you used to be. Okay? So I wrote about it a long time ago. And it was very, very popular. But not like this, guys. Okay? So let me get back to eating for your blood type. I mean, I wasn't the king of the castle. He was. Because, people were looking and he wrote a book about, the blood types and you should eat for it. And he used, start over. He had a hypothesis, a theory of we were supposed to eat for our blood type. Now listen, in all due respect to the fact that he probably sold a couple of million copies of this book, probably 5 million, and became a millionaire, if he wasn't before, he was wrong. Okay? Why? Because, look, you have to think about this for a minute, but, unless you were, because he said that some, and you know what, some people got better eating by their blood type, but generally what he was saying, okay, all of the blood types that he suggested, the blood types, and then the foods that he recommended for those types, they all got rid of sugar and crappy food. He never recommended anywhere in this book to eat crappy food. So if you do just that, you're going to get better. You'll feel better. You just get rid of sugar. You'll feel better. Okay? So, it's like someone telling me, well, I really got better when I started drinking alkaline water from a certain machine that cost me $2,000 or $3,000. You know what I say? No, it got better because you were drinking water. Most people, they're on medications, whatever, they're severely dehydrated, they don't know it, then you start drinking water, and guess what? You feel better. It's not the alkaline water that does it. You don't have to spend a couple of $1,000 to feel better. Just drink water. Now, I like spring water because it's got a good pH. It's got minerals. I like that. It's better for you. But water is water. And so when Dr. Dinamo, and like I say, in all due respect to him, it's not true because here's why I say it. Because everybody and their dog should be eating red meat. Because only in red meat, it's not your blood type. Well, it is in a way. Do a finger prick. I'm going to teach you blood type eating. Do a finger prick, okay? I got one right here. You want me to do it? I'm going to do a finger prick. I'm going to show you a test. I've got a little lancet right here. I'm going to do a test. Now, I just don't want to bleed all over everything, okay? I'm just looking for a Kleenex. Okay. I'm going to do a little test for you right in front of your eyeballs. Okay? Now, for those on a podcast, you can't see it, but you guys can see it. See the test? What color is that? Red. If your blood comes out red, here's a test, a blood test. If your blood comes out red, if it comes out any other color, don't worry about this. But if it's red, you need to eat red meat. Hello? See? There's the test. That's your blood type. What's my blood type, Dr. Martin? Red. And you need to eat red meat. Why? Because only in red meat do you have B12. I was reading a study this morning about carnitine, L-carnitine. And I should actually bring it out to you next week. And it talks about how important carnitine is for your heart. So's L-arginine, by the way, but carnitine, very important because it goes directly to the muscle in your heart. And when you get older, you're very low in carnitine. And guess where you find carnitine? I'm waiting. It's a quiz. It's not found in anything else. There's not enough carnitine for a mouse. in plant foods. I'm sorry, there's not. So your blood type, eating for your blood type, is eating if you got red coming out. There's your blood type. You're a human being. And human beings need B12. Your brain won't work properly without it. Your nerves are not going to work properly without it. You need heme iron. Heme iron is only found in red meat. Not even in chicken. And it's certainly not found in salad. So guys, you got to understand where I come from. When I heard this, I was on the stage with him. I was happy to take his book. I don't dismiss anything. Hey, the guy's a smart guy. Smarter than me. He made a lot of money. Okay? No, I respect him. I do. He had a theory and a hypothesis. And he sold 5 million, maybe more books. But it wasn't true. Nobody, nada, no one should ever be a vegan. Ever. No one should ever be a vegetarian. No one. I'm not coming off of that, guys. I read the book. The guy's smart. But it's not true. I got type O, therefore I should eat. No, you got red blood, and you need to eat for your blood type. You're a human being. Okay? God, like I said, God gave you a gallbladder. There's a reason for it. Cows don't have a gallbladder, but you do. That's so you can eat meat and eggs and cheese. So did I answer your question? I want you to eat for your blood type. How do you like that? Okay. Okay, now, let me just see here. Oh, yes, okay. Now, question is asked about probiotics, okay? So I think Paulette and Michelin and Deb, okay? So Paulette, Michelin, and Deb asked about probiotics. So let me answer all three in one shot. Paulette, wouldn't prebiotic foods make candida or SIBO worse? You guys are thinking, I like that. How do probiotics help with SIBO? Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And Deb asks, I was told by a naturopath that when taking candida supplements, stop taking probiotics because they cancel each other out. Can Dr. Martin elaborate on that? Okay. And Dr. Martin, by Michelin, what do you mean by soil-based probiotic? Okay. So let me go into some detail about probiotics. Now, you know what I think about probiotics in general. It is a foundational supplement, and everybody, in my opinion, everybody should be taking probiotics. We live in a crazy world where every day your good bacteria are being bombarded by chemicals, by chlorine, by fluoride in the water. You have by antibiotics. non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol and Advil, and they kill your friendly bacteria. Sugar feeds your bad army. I mean, you're constantly being bombarded, okay? So do you need probiotics? Absolutely. And I talked to you yesterday about yogurt. It's a waste of time. It does nothing. You can eat it because it's dairy, okay? But don't take it for probiotics, please, okay? Now, mentioned twice is Candida supplements. So I'll talk about that in a second. But let me talk about probiotics in general, what they do. And look, I have a bottle of our probiotics right in front of me here. Okay, let me read. Let me read a little bit just so you understand where I'm coming from. Per capsule, okay, there's 50 billion bacteria. That's good because it's high dose. But that's not what makes a probiotic a good probiotic. Yes, the strength, 50 billion, you would have to eat 16,000 4-ounce yogurts to make up 50 billion bacteria. So yogurt, unless you make it yourself, even then, not going to be a broad spectrum probiotic. Because in yogurt, there's usually acidophilus. So, it either starts with an L or a B, and they're all Latin names. Okay, so when you get a label out of probiotics, if, it's L or B, lactobacillus or bacillus, okay? And then you have long Latin names like Lactobacillus acidophilus. Don't ever name your child that, okay? Acidophilus. No, but I hate Latin. I hate it. Why don't they just call it LA? Okay? For short. But listen, guys. Different bacterial strains, if you go on our website, it'll tell you what those strains are famous for. Acidophilus, for example, is very, very good for your gut. Okay? Some of them boost your immune system. Now, when people have this idea that, for example, I was told this, and even today, if you go into a health food store or you ask some guru, they'll tell you don't take oil of oregano with a probiotic. Why? Because oil of oregano is a famous antibiotic, so it'll kill everything. No, it doesn't. You see, when you have something in nature, God gave us oil of oregano. It is a tremendous, you know me, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant. It is, I love it, oil of oregano. You know that. We put it in our digestive enzyme. Why? To kill SIBO. SIFO. Okay? Because you and I, SIBO is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. That's not really a bacteria. It's a fungus. That's why a good probiotic will do it. Why? Because we don't put it on the label because we don't want people copying our formula. This is, hey, you're looking at them. Tony Jr., you're looking at those two faces. And this is our formula. And we have 2 fungus killers in the probiotics. So Candida, now we have a Candida formula that is very specific for fungus, for Candida, for yeast. It's a double killer with your probiotics. But we never tell people not to take probiotics if they're taking our Candida formula. I recommend them together for people that have a major overgrowth of yeast. You know, ladies, you know if you got yeast. And men, if you got sinus, you got you're coughing and postnasal drip and whatever, that's fungus. Look at your skin. It's yeast. So oftentimes I get the 2 together. But in our formula probiotic, L. reuteri and L. rhamnosus, they're famous for killing Candida. They do other things, but they kill fungus, mold, the cousin of mold, in your body. That's why we put them in there. Every strain does different things. And when we talk about a broad spectrum probiotic, it's got all the strains that we like. Okay? It's broad spectrum. And it's soil-based. Why do I talk about that? Because when you take, here, I'll take a capsule out. Okay? When you take a capsule, a probiotic, our probiotic, it's soil-based. You know what that means? You can travel with it. It's not dairy-based, doesn't come from dairy. It comes from the soil. It actually takes 3 years to make that bacteria. And then you can't kill them. And we put an enteric coating so it get past your stomach into your intestine, small intestine, to kill SIBO. It's called SIFO, by the way. We renamed it. Small intestine fungal overgrowth. It's yeast, guys. It's just like, ladies, listen to me. You get a recurring bladder infection. It's not bacteria. It's not bacteria. Yes, bacteria is present. It's always present. But because you got a yeast infection in the bladder, that's what gives you the recurring. It's fungal. It's not bacterial. That's why I am against antibiotics for, look, you got pain and it's burning upon urination. I get it. I understand it. You take an antibiotic, but stop the second the burning stops, and take lots of probiotics so that you kill the fungus, because it's going to come back with a vengeance. It's yeast, guys. This is why I tell people, take a probiotic, take a broad spectrum, soil-based. It's better. It lasts longer. You can't kill it. It'll repopulate your gut. And you can take it with a Candida formula. You can't kill this stuff. I told somebody yesterday, take your probiotics with your antibiotics. Why? Because, look, I'm not telling you not to take an antibiotic, but you need to take probiotics and take it while and the new research, by the way, on antibiotics, let me just spell it out for the new people that are here. I've said this for 50 years, and I'm going to say it again. This idea of making people finish an antibiotic is bad science. You want to know why we got so many super bugs today? is because people are finishing their antibiotic. Look, take your antibiotic, and when the pain goes away, when the infection is gone, stop it. You don't want superbugs forming. You know, bacteria, bugs are smart. They develop resistance. Guys, the most dangerous place to live is not in Afghanistan. Although, with the Taliban there now, ooh, you wouldn't want to be a woman living in Afghanistan. But you know where the most dangerous place, the most deaths occur? In a hospital. Because of sepsis. Infection that antibiotics can't touch. You ask any physician, they'll tell you that. Ooh, boy, there's nothing like C. difficile and other superbugs that are in the hospitals today. And look, I'm not telling you not to go to the hospital, but beware. And they should be giving you probiotics. I've talked to thousands of doctors over the years. Why don't you give your patients probiotics? I mean, it is so well established. Read the literature, guys. Okay? So did I answer all the questions about probiotics? Broad spectrum, soil-based. There ain't nothing, honey, better than that. Okay? I'm telling you. Okay. Enough preaching. Okay. And okay, so we answered those questions. Man, oh man, I'm sweating. Dr. Martin, Elsie, what causes kidney stones and what can I take for it? Well, listen. Kidneys. Whenever you think of kidneys, think of Niagara Falls. Okay? You ever been to Niagara Falls? By the way, come between 2 in the afternoon and 8 o'clock at night. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see the water flowing. It's turned off. We got a tap and we turn it off. True or false? It's false. Go at 2 in the morning. It don't matter. Water is always running over the falls. It's beautiful. I never get tired of it. Okay? That's your kidneys. Kidneys need water. And when you don't drink enough water, you don't have a little light coming on top of your head. It would be nice. Hello? Add water. But people don't drink water. They don't. They're dehydrated. And stones will form when you don't treat your kidneys like Niagara Falls. That's one way. Now, there's oxalate stones and uric acid stones. But oxalate stones and uric acid stones have something in common. It's sugary drinks. Oh, when I go to the mall and I see those fruit or juice places, I get a headache. Somebody said to me the other day, boy, you get a lot of headaches. I get a headache when I see kids drinking this. Oh, it's good for me. It's juice. Oh, I get a headache. It's sugar. Fruit. And the worst sugar is high fructose corn syrup. You want to know one of the reasons that we see so much kidney stones? High fructose corn syrup, the antichrist of sugars. It makes me want to scream. And then even fruit drinks, let's juice everything. I wouldn't do that. Don't juice vegetables and drink them. Eat them. Don't drink it. You're going to form oxalates. Kidney stones. Water. And stay away from juicing. Have Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie with cream. I'll allow you a few berries, okay? Not on the reset, though. On the reset, it's cream. And your kids will love it. Your grandchildren will love it, okay? So thanks for the question. Two big things. Nothing affects the kidneys like dehydration. 1, and 2, sugar. Ask a diabetic who often end up on dialysis. You want to make a good investment? Get into Pfizer, because that's, what did I tell you the other day? How many billions did they make in quarter number 2? 19 billion or something like that, or 20 something billion, like $211 million a day. And 2, get into companies that make dialysis. The amount of diabetics, what shuts down in a diabetic? Often kidneys. Sugar destroys. Okay. Elsie, what do I take for that? Well, drink water and cut out the sugars. Okay. Oh, Joe's asking about, did you like that one? We did the BDNF the other day, BDNF, brain, right? Brain. I can't even remember what it's called, because brain-derived neurotrophic factor. What it means is you actually regenerate in the brain. We talked about that. It'll be soon on a podcast, okay? Very interesting, very new, very interesting research, because we always thought the brain never regenerated, really. You lose brain neurons and you're in trouble because they don't regenerate. But now we know that there's a factor there, and one of the ways, I think I talked about 4 ways to increase it. And actually, I added a couple. And Joe is saying, well, you didn't mention fasting. Well, I did, Joe. I did. Because the reset is fasting without fasting. If you eat, Joe, the right fuel, okay? Because I actually was going to call the reset fasting without fasting, because fasting has become very popular today. And I like intermittent fasting. You know that. The best way to intermittent fast is I tell my patients, don't eat at night. Don't eat at night. Now, if you want to get into true intermittent fasting, you need to go into the 14 to 16 hours, and some people 18 hours of not eating. But I'm telling you that your BDNF will work. You will regenerate your brain if you give your brain the right fuel. You see, that's the key. The key is, I like not eating. I mean it. At night, especially. Now, some people, they can do fasting. It don't bother them. And you want to implement intermittent fasting, I like it. But I tell people, you can fast without fasting. 30 days of the reset, you're fasting without fasting. You don't have to do the 14, 16. Now, if you do it, Good. I really want people not to eat at night. That's a big thing. But if you eat the right fuels, you see, the key is fuel. If you're using rocket fuel, Joe, rocket fuel, octane, 99% octane, not 87 that we put in our cars, or 88. Rocket fuel that they put into rockets, jets. Your brain will regenerate. Like I said, I almost called the book Fasting Without Fasting. The Reset 1. Okay. Well, Janet is asking, okay, do high levels of cholesterol cause gallstones? No. Janet, no. Now, the gallstones are partly made up of their bile and cholesterol. But it's not because your cholesterol is high that you get stones. Because you don't. It's use it, Janet, or lose it. If you don't use your gallbladder, which millions and millions and millions and millions of North Americans don't do, gallbladder surgery became very famous in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. And then when we went into the 21st century, gallbladder surgery, and then they got good at it, they just do a little bit of a scope. It's not a major surgery. They just suck that little bag out. Right? You recover in a couple of days and but your gallbladder is a reservoir, and it's a reservoir for bile. And bile helps to emulsify fat. You need it. But if you insist on eating fat-free, your gallbladder gets gummed up. And when it gets gummed up, it forms stones. Use it or lose it. That's the gallbladder. And millions and millions and millions and millions of women, mostly women, because men, you can't talk them out of a hamburger. Okay? Men are just by nature carnivores, okay? And the only time a man gets sick from his gallbladder, if he buys the nonsense of fat-free. It's a women's disease, mostly. And there's some hormonal factors too, okay? Too much estrogen, not enough progesterone. But it's fat-free. You weren't meant to live fat-free. You need saturated fat to be healthy. You guys are great. Okay, I ran out of time. Maybe I'll take a few of these questions and try to put them in on Monday. Okay? Guys, we appreciate you guys. Somebody said, aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about having all those headaches? Well, they only last a few seconds, okay? And then I start. No, guys, we love you dearly. Thanks for supporting this podcast that it will become on The Doctor Is In. Get your friends to download the podcast, okay? It's a really popular podcast. So The Doctor Is In podcast on your smart device, okay? And join up on our private Facebook group. We appreciate that community there. It's really good, okay? I promise I'm going to start posting in there more often. It's just a habit I have to get into, okay? I like your posts, but I'm going to start posting more often, I promise, okay? Okay, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.